Hello, in recent years, China has been experiencing many tremendous floods. Looking at many cars that were drifting just like leaves, we can help regretting. Hundreds of cities became Atlantic land. There were a lot of people suffering from miserable situations without food, fresh water, and electricity. People are supposing that China is taking its own consequences, but we believe that China is encountering a flood curse because in the past 90 years ago, China had suffered from the most terrible deluge in human history. So let's find out more about this piece of information. In 1931, central China experienced a frightful flood, inundating an area that is as wide as the whole of Vietnam. Regarding the reason, according to historical researchers, a long time ago, Chinese people developed infertile plains, which are the basins of vast rivers such as the Yangtze River. Even though fertile plants were very convenient for a living, they also brought an unavoidable thing, flooding. After exploring alluvial plains, agricultural plants made the risk of flooding increase by changing the scenery. Over deforestation, wetland improvement, and expansion of river dike networks has changed many normal and acceptable floods into destructive ones. Besides, building big dams is a double-edged sword. If people do it well, it will help them to prevent many smaller floods. We can protect plants and regulate the amount of water in agriculture. However, in the late Qin dynasty, Chinese people didn't treat these dikes well. In this period, the budgets that should have been used for building or improving these dikes were corrupted or used for military affairs. It was the acts of disambition, fighting, or power struggle that caused innocent people to bear a catastrophic disaster, which was the flood in 1931. Specifically, from 1928 to 1930, China suffered from extreme drought. Lacking the amount of rain made many rivers and soils dry out. But in the winter in 1930 was extremely harsh, leaving a large amount of snow and ice in upstream basins of rivers. This amount of snow and ice then melted in the next summer, and along with an abnormally large amount of rain inundated reservoirs as well as increased the amount of groundwater. Until the next summer of that year, a special event happened that was in 1931. Yangtze River basin had to encounter up to 9 floods continuously landing in July. This caused many heavy rains to fall down, bringing an amount of water that was 150% higher than years before and lasted a month. With the strength of nature, people just mean nothing. And with the power of that giant flood water that year, all dikes were completely destroyed. On 25th August 1931 at night, water going through the Grand Canal ruined all dikes in the Hangul province. According to the estimation of that year, there were about 200,000 people sleeping that night and never waking up again. The flood then continued to rise higher and higher, engulfing an entire land of 300,000 kilometers square. Furthermore, about 150,000 people died in the first stage of the flood, and the others who survived after that had to suffer from a serious life crisis. The flood washed all of the agricultural products harvested in that year away and also destroyed a majority of rivers' cereals. Moreover, a greater part of farmland were not able to be used until the next winter. As a consequence, famine and malnutrition happened along with the appearance of many diseases that destroyed and threatened all people's life outright. The shortage of fresh water and the contaminated environment because of the decay of living things made bacteria reproduce quickly. Many terrible diseases appeared. This flood also created an ideal environment for mosquitoes to develop and cause malaria, which ended the life of at least more than 300,000 people. In total, diseases caused by flooding were the main reason for 75% of the number of deaths in the countryside families and 87% of the number of deaths in refugee camps. According to the reports, there were about 2.7 million dead people in that flood, Therein, 1 million people were drowned by the flood water, and the other 2.7 million people died because of diseases. Researchers evaluated that if dikes were frequently taken care of, repaired, and regularly checked, this catastrophic disaster may not have happened. Unfortunately, there are many bad mandarins who had been too ambitious, then corrupted and took money for their own profits, and the other ones who didn't corrupt but had another concern, which was the civil war. Finally, it was all because of war and power competition that humans should slaughter each other. It is always true that poorer people themselves have to take the most serious consequences. Actually, the majority of people do not wish for a rich life but just need a peaceful life, and a good government that is dedicated, care for his people, and uses tax money suitably is enough. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye and see you later.